Oh, nice seeing you guys. Glorious. It's been too long.
Hi, Coach Norvell. Jenna is with New Chicks on Pod and New Stitch Media. How are you today?
Doing well myself.
I'm well, thank you. Just a couple of quick questions for you. To start off, what was your favorite play last season that came together on the field that you had nothing to do with, really?
Favorite play that I had nothing to do with.
Negative together.
There's quite a few plays that kind of come to mind, but I love the last play of the LSU game. The blocked extra point. That's a play that you talk so much about the importance of each snap, and nobody wanted to find themselves in a situation where we were having to get an extra point attempt against us, but we still had an opportunity. And guys taking advantage of that, being able to give a great level of strain, to be able to execute a plan, and then to be able to finish the game with that type of outcome was one that will always stand out, and one that will be remembered just because of the young man's choice.
Right, that's awesome. And then my follow-up question is more to the heart. I know community involvement means a lot to you and your wife. And on that note, how have you helped your players figure out how they want to get involved with community involvement and kind of direct them in that way?
Well, my wife Maria, she's remarkable, and she started a foundation. It's the Keep Climbing Family Foundation, and one of the programs that was initiated was a Seminoles Give campaign, where there's a student athlete, male, female student athlete, that gets to choose an organization or a cause that they want to be able to benefit. Being a student athlete, they're not professionals. Obviously that they can donate a lot with their time, but sometimes the financial part of it is something that's limited during their college experience, and so to have the foundation be able to make that impact and to be able to donate on their behalf, and to see what that does, and it really forces our players to think about what they want to give to, what they want to. And I say our players, student athletes, Florida State athletes. It makes them think of a cause and and a purpose, and that's where it's so rewarding for us to see that service. And these kids, they want to make such a great impact, and just being able to be a part of connecting those dots, I think, is pretty special.
Hey, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Next year you start the season in Ireland against our Kentucky Dublin. So what's it going to be like to start the season in another country?
Obviously that's something that being a year in advance. A lot of things logistically we had to look at, and making that decision. And it's going to be an incredible opportunity for our team, and it'll be. It's something that also worked out to where we'll have an educational experience, that we'll be able to have. But there's a lot of work between now and then. But we're definitely you're fortunate for that opportunity, and you got a great plan surrounding that for the 24 season.
Understanding that there are big games early in the season, what is the importance of the September 23rd trip to Clemson and kind of trying to get through that roadblock?
Each game is critically important for us, and obviously we start off with LSU, defending SEC West champs. It's a team that's going to be a top 10 team in the program. That's our attention, that's our focus of being the best we can be when we get to that moment, and then from that, we've got home game, you'll get Southern Miss, and we go on the road to Boston College, and then I know we go to Clemson there in week 4, and it's easy to point to it and talk about it. Our objective and our goal is to be the best position we can be, to go showcase who we are and what we're all about. We know that Clemson has been the standard in the recent past within the ACC, and we're pushing to get to that point, and that's going to be a great game. Another very talented team that they have coming back, but we got a lot of steps that are necessary before we get to that to put ourselves in that position.
Coach, talk about the standard at Florida State in your first 3 years, going to year 4. Do you feel like you're getting closer to that standard? And what is it going to take for your team to get back here in Charlotte December 2nd for the ACC Championship game?
Well, the standard is it's daily application, and a standard is every day showing up, being your best, and continuing to improve on the journey. I think we have grown. I think we've gotten better. I think we've seen those positive steps throughout our program, on the field and off the field. We have to keep improving. We have to continue to be more consistent, and that's where, as long as we are doing that, I have a lot of confidence in what we're going to do and what we'll be able to accomplish. And that's the daily challenge. And so that standard has never changed. And there was times that we've had to go through some adversity. We've had to showcase a response, but I do believe in these guys and the work they put in to put ourselves in this position. But we've got to see that consistency throughout this year and continuing to grow you as a football team and make sure that each week we're showing up better than how we finished the previous one. Yeah, I mean, there's each game has opportunities to grow, win, lose, whatever that looks like, and you try to take each of those plays and be able to answer a question why in the moment. Why did I call a play that might have been good or might have been bad? Why did we utilize or put in action fundamentals, techniques, decisions that were made, and then you have to grow from it. And nobody wants to be in a position where that last play is one that that leaves a negative taste or a negative feel, but that's how you receive it. And what Jordan said today was something that I got to watch, and he's a remarkable young man. And I always tell our players that your response is what's going to determine the identity. Anybody can say what they want to say, but how you show up, the actions that you have, and he just continued to push. He continued to work. You look at, heck, we had three losses in a row in the month of October, and Jordan was one that stood up and stepped out in continue to push the work and continue to push the belief. There was no point in that where it was going at each other. Where we can all look at the film and see the issues that showed up. Now what are we going to do to make it better? And in each of those 3 games, there was a different circumstance or a different situation, or it goes back to that consistency. Just talking, we had to be more consistent. And I think you saw a team that responded the right way, and I think he was a huge part of that, just because of what he was willing to invest and give.
Coach, I wanted to piggyback off of Jordan. There was an article from the Tampa Bay Times that mentioned after the exit interview process with Jordan last year, I believe you have him walk outside and look at the Heisman Trophy case and tell him that he can win a Heisman Trophy. Can you go over that whole brief conversation? Yeah,
it was actually a year before that, and so we were finishing up spring of, I guess it was 22, and Jordan I'd had a full year with him and be able to kind of see the way that he worked, the things that he's done, and I just believe in him. I believe in the young man. I believe in his heart. I believe in unbelievable ability, and we talked about some things that he would need to do to continue to grow, and whenever we were finishing the meeting, I told him, I said, I want you to go and basically walk in that lobby and take a look at those trophies. And I fully believe that he has the talent and what he in here and right there to be able to win one of those. And obviously last year he took some positive steps in that direction, and now he's in the conversation. But even to today, it's not about the trophy for Jordan. It's about being all that he can be as a player, but equally as much as a teammate, and to help this football team, because that's what makes him special. But I did want him to hear from me, where I thought he could go, and he's proven me right.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, bringing back a lot on defense, which obviously have some big shoes to fill. Jamie Robinson, all ACC safety. Here in Carolina with the Panthers, can you talk about Shaheem Brown, a player that I think is going to become a household name this season, and how he's stepped up the challenge of filling that starting role by a player like Jamie Robinson?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I mean, Jamie was remarkable for us, and Shai played a lot last year, and he was able to get that experience, and you see the flashes. he was a redshirt freshman a year ago, and now he's taking another step. And you see the growth, the confidence, all the things that have come through the work. I mean, I think this sky's the limit for him as well, and what he can do. But you also look at that safety position, and I've got a lot of confidence in it. Guys like Akeem Dent, who's played a lot of football here. Kevin Knowles is somebody that he started at nickel for us, but has the one of the things we're going to look at is opportunity for him going back to the safety position. One of the newcomers I haven't mentioned a whole lot about, but even watching through the summer, Ashland Barker is a young man that transferred in this summer, and I think has a world of potential, and has done a great job just coming into the program. You see a couple young freshmen. Conrad Hussey is a guy that I think has potential to play early. It's an exciting group, and we've got a lot of defensive backs that have plenty of versatility in their game. But I mean, those guys with Shaim, I think we're going to have a dynamic safety group that can help us win a lot of games.
You just talked about the Heisman race. Some of the guys were talking about watching you guys show footage of the old great Florida State teams, 2019. How valuable a tool is that when you have a team that has some potential to do some really good things, to be able to kind of connect this to that as a teaching tool? Like, this is what it takes to be great, and it's been done.
Well, that's one of the reasons, since I've come to Florida State, trying to get those past players back. And, because when guys understand who they represent, they get to tell the story for you. And, there's one of the things I want a football team that represents the program and that loves the program, in the right way. And, when you get those past players, back, and they talk about, the experiences, they talk about the culture, they talk about the relationships, all these guys want to win a championship. When you have somebody that's done it, they can just help better tell the story of what that looked like day to day, and the good, the bad, the things that even things where they thought it could have been better, and it's what makes our place very special, just because of the great tradition that we have and all the wonderful players.
Do you think that message is sinking into them about this is what it takes? You need to do a lot of great things.
I think that's happened throughout our journey. I mean, there's great expectations here in this program, and I know I've been asked about the expectations so much. I mean, this is, if you don't like them, this is definitely not the place to come, because we want to have those type of expectations year in and year out. But it's still, you build the real confidence through the work you put in, the responses that you have, all the things that you get to go through. That provides the confidence necessary for what you can overcome. And so I think our guys have built a lot of trust in what we ask them to do and how we ask them to do that, and where they can go. And that's what I love. That's the thing I'm most excited to see, is just to let the story play out, to see the good moments, the challenging times, and watch our team respond because of what they've done, and all that's been invested in them, whether it's from the past players or the structure within the program to help them be their best.
Mike, sorry, go ahead. To build upon last year and take that next step to being an ACC championship type team, where does that improvement have to come from? To take that next step and build upon last year and be an ACC championship type team, where does that improvement come from?
Oh, the improvement, it's consistency. It really, I think we've, last year, had a top 15, offense, top 15 defense. You see, great playmakers around. I think you see the depth that we have, but it's day in and day out. Each game, you're going out there and playing to the best of our ability. The situational awareness. Making sure that, with all the right intentions, we play within the things that we're asking our each other to do, and it's going to take all of us, and that's what I'm excited about this team, because of how much they care about each other, the work that they put in together. I think, like I said, that trust is there. Now we have to go execute in those moments of truth, and that consistency of improvement will help allow us to accomplish those things that are behind.
Mike, the state changed its NIL law back in February or March, and since then, a few other states have made their own state laws and loosened it up even more. Is Florida at a disadvantage with that, or do you think there's not much of a difference?
It's when it comes to the laws, the state laws, everybody having a little bit different. you operate within what you have, and I think that there's been Florida was on the forefront of all things NIL at the beginning, and then there was areas where it could open other doors to and how just to communicate and what could be said for whether it's from an athletic department or just opening doors for student athletes. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're gonna make all the most of all that we have, with what the rules allow us to do. And I think we're in a good place. And some states operate, in a little bit differently, but everybody has their own structure within that. It's a daily question I get to ask, and it's in progress. We're hopeful that we hear something here sooner rather than later. But I know Daryl's working his tail off, continuing to prepare. What a special young man. He's got an incredible future. But we're continuing to go through the process with NCAA and just how much like with Meach. There in the fall going into spring, that was something that took a lot of time. I mean, Meach he went through pro day, just not knowing, and so this obviously Daryl's process started a little bit later than that, so it's due diligence as we're going through that journey. Ultimately we've got a great group, and we are fully hopeful and expecting that Daryl's going to be a part, and he'll be a game changer for us. I mean, he's really a special talent, but it's still about all of us growing, getting better, being ready for when our number is called. And it's one of the things that I told Daryl at the beginning of this. Anytime you have to appeal or file for a waiver, I mean it's a process, and ultimately he can't control much of it right now, but he can control the work. And so every day continuing to grow, continuing to get better, and I think he's taking heed to that, and he looks great, and just excited about his future. Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's retention of players, retention of staff. There got guys with opportunities to do other things. Whether players go to the NFL, staff with other opportunities that are out there. But being able to have, the relationships are so important. And when guys understand who they're doing it with, they understand the communication, the expectations. It allows you to play faster. It allows you to trust more because you have the experience. And that was something that was big within our program just over the last few years, to be able to have that continuity. And when you see players that are choosing to be a part of this for another year, when you see players that are choosing for hard and challenging situation, that gets me, because it tells me, right, they care about who they do it with, right? They care about what they represent. They care about who they do it for. And then also. Obviously, they're willing to put everything that they have into their development, and they know that this is a place where they can continue to grow and get better based off what they're being asked of, and we got a great group in there.
I feel like Keon will bring
activation period with Jeremy. He's such a unique, energetic personality. How did you see him kind of win them over, and I guess how far does he think come in terms of what he means to kind of the culture of this program?
Well, it's funny because we were having that conversation last night, and you build respect through work and actions, and we all know it's Jared likes to talk, and he's a very confident young man, but it also that helps kind of create his edge, and there's times that people can see that and not like that very much, but the thing that he's earned the respect of this team because he shows up every day, and when you can bring your actions to what you're saying, it's something that people do respect, and guys see how hard he plays and how he plays for others, and he really does care about this football team. I think that's a statement. He was asked up there on the stage, why come back? He talked about players. He talked about other individuals that he wanted to be around. Well, that shows up day to day, and when you have that, it's respect is earned, and that's how you build trust among a team, and I think he's done that.
class, what do you feel like Keon will bring to the offense, and just will that take some of the focus away from Johnny with some of the defenses not being able to maybe
Well,
put as much attention?
it was Keon he's a great talent, and I mean he's definitely going to bring a wonderful dynamic into that receiving room, which I think is we've got a talented room, and when he came on his official visit, we actually I partnered him up. His host was Johnny, because I figured most people would try to use that against us of why would you want to go there. But I think that was one of the reasons that I said this is why you want to come here, because you have somebody on that could be on the other side, or that allows it's going to allow more one-on-ones. Johnny, same as you get another person within this team and this program that is going to be a real threat, and if that means you get 5 more one-on-one opportunities with Johnny or vice versa, it's exciting, because that's what this game's all about. And whether it's running the football, whether it's receivers, running backs, tight ends. I mean, we all work together to be the best that we can be and to provide opportunities. But I think he's going to bring a great dynamic to this team, and really excited about him.
Is there a certain intangible that last year's team had that you're still waiting to see if this year's team has the same thing, or were you already been sold on this year?
No, I mean, this team, I'm sold off what I've seen for the last 7 months with this team. Because it started back in January, and it's not. I mean, there's good days, there's bad days. We need all of them, and the response to maybe a day that where it doesn't go exactly like those are still necessary moments for growth. And I think that when you look back at last year's team, I was talking to our staff about this the other day. It's what were those defining qualities? They finished. They responded. They embrace the hardship, which when you start 4-0, nobody really thinks about hardship. When you have a couple of disappointing moments, where do you go from there? And that was one of those crossroad, kind of moments. And they chose to finish, and you felt the closeness. You felt the things that has kind of helped retain players and you just in how they operated. And so if we can continue to develop that, if we can show that in the because in every game, I mean, the schedule we have, I mean, we're going to find some very challenging situations that we're going to be in. Where do we go from there? And you look at any team that's won a championship, you look at any team that's that's had great success. Those are the moments you kind of look back to and circle, and that's what we have to. That's what we have to be prepared for, but that's what we also have to be able to execute in that moment of truth.
Is that a given because of all the pieces you have back, or you can't?
There's nothing. It's nothing that's ever a given. I mean, there's plenty of teams that are picked high. I mean, that come up short. There's plenty of teams that there's expectations that don't, because they get distracted on the mission, and that's where it's good and bad. If a year ago, if we would have sat there and just did what expectation wanted us to do, we wouldn't have won 10 games. But they didn't get distracted by that. They didn't get distracted by some of the events that showed up, and that's where this year will be unique to itself. As we go through fall camp, we got to finish up the summer program the next couple of days. We get into fall camp, and it's just every day working to improve, get better, and. Like I said, I got a lot of confidence in this team and what they can do, and I'm excited to be a part of it with them.
The defense made a lot of strides last year from year to year. What are some reasons you think they can take another jump?
Oh, I mean, it's just depth, right? Experience. The versatility of our defensive front and what we can do and how we can put that in position. The versatility of our defensive backfield, I think is really got a chance to be special. I think that you still have guys like Omar Graham's a guy that we haven't talked a whole lot about, but I mean, when you look at our 3 linebackers that are returning, I mean, they have experience with Tatum and Kalen and DJ. I mean, Omar Graham's going to be a really, really good football player. Seeing Blake Nicholson already, within our program, I'm excited to see where that goes. We got some newcomers that I think are going to be fun to watch. But when you add those guys to the equation, that competition, you'll be able to keep guys fresh, being able to show a lot of different variations. I mean, it's exciting, and I want to be the most relentless defense in the country in how we play, because I believe we can. And it's just it's a mindset and a choice of what we want it to look like. And when you have that type of depth and guys with ability, I mean, it's gonna be fun to see.
Can defenses still be dominant in college football?
I mean, I think it's hard. I mean, I think when you say dominance, what is dominance? I mean, you're going to go out and shut every opponent out. I mean, offenses are. There's a lot of things, whether it's unique rules that make it very challenging in some situations when it comes to just the way the game is played with space, and we want to be the aggressor in that. We want to be able to create more takeaways. We want to be able to create more 3 and outs, and it's something that we improved greatly in this last year. But it's I think this is going to be a great group, and there will be times that whatever's necessary, we got to be ready to do. And it kind of goes back to an example of that that last game, and or that you look at the last play of the LSU game. I mean, how we played throughout the course of the game. We had a last drive, had a couple of mental lapses, mistakes and allowed a team to go score, but you still got one more. And so those moments might show up. We're hopeful it never does, but that you have the grit and resolve to rise up to the occasion, and that's what determines a great defense in my mind. And I think we have a chance.
We've got time for a couple more.
What's the next step?
Just it all coming together, I think, is important. I mean, when you see guys that are talented, which I think we are. I mean, you one of the guys that Bless Harris coming back. Bless was our starting tackle going into last year, and first game, I mean, we lose him for the season, and and then Jazz and Dylan were 2 guys that played a lot of football for us, but now that those guys are gone, you see young guys that have grown, whether it's Jalen Early, Julian Armella, guys that are putting themselves in a position to have a chance to potentially impact for this year, but then also the growth of Darius Washington, Maurice Smith, I think has done an incredible job and is a great leader for us on that offensive line. But then you add the newcomers, and you have obviously Casey Roddick, I think, is a special talent. I think he's a special talent, but also an incredible young man that really has done some great things. This spring we played him a lot at center, just to, for if need be. And but I mean, he's also going to be a guy that's going to be there at guard. That I'm excited about what he's going to do. Keandre Jones is somebody that's played a lot of football. Jeremiah Byers is another special talent that I think when you add those guys into this group, I mean, it's going to be a ton of competition, but it's also we got to find the most cohesive group of being able to go out there and execute. And I'm excited. There could be some opportunities where you could play 7 or 8 linemen throughout the course of potentially a game, but also what against who you're going against, what guys are going to put you in the best position week in and week out. And I think this is I think it's a group that's coming together quite well.
What do you see behind the scenes to kind of explain how Wilson got to be such a good receiver?
Work. I mean, you're 6'7", you're 240 pounds, you can run, you can bend. He's got all of that. But the work that he puts in, the unselfishness that he puts in, he's grows in confidence. There's times through last year where he had to be more consistent. But you see. A lot of people will talk about wanting to be great. He's working to become great, and I think he's an X factor type player where he can change a game by himself, and we've got a lot of pieces around him, but he's what you want, and he's so unselfish. He's just a really special young man, and that size speed combination, and just the way he works.
That idea of maybe using different linemen in different situations and different games, is that something that you just expect that they're going to have the selflessness for that, or do you talk to them about that, or is that just part of it?
It's we're all pushing together in this, and I use that example to our teams. I know that exactly 270, 280 starts and college starts within our offensive line. There's going to be somebody that started a lot of games. That's not going to be. But does that mean that they can't make the impact? That might be the difference in the game. I mean, we all we're going to have to compete. We're going to have to perform. We're going to have to execute. And then it comes down to the best guys that put us in the best position. That might be within the course of a game of changing personnel. That might be in a course of a game plan and week to week, but nobody was promised anything when they came here. And whether they were here when they first got here or whether they've joined in, I mean, it's an opportunity to compete, to grow, to work together. And I think these guys, they embrace that, but they also understand that, I mean, it's you got to show up daily. And, the unexpected of getting, Meach back was, I mean, it was awesome because you got a guy that's played a lot of football, but he also knows. And got some guys that have come in that played a lot of ball too, and but I love his approach in it. And it's just you see guys that have been here that are helping guys that just got here. You see guys that have been here that are helping each other and pushing each other, just to continue to grow. And so it's going to be a fun battle to watch. You get throughout fall camp and just throughout the course of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Oh, see you guys.